Hello and welcome to Juice with Justin. At PPC, the number one thing that we see that is missing from the majority of people's fitness regimen is strength training. Now, when I talk about strength training, I'm talking about the body's ability to handle forces. For the general population, that might mean picking up things, carrying things at your side or overhead, playing sports with your kids, and anything that can really increase your quality of physical living. From an athletics perspective, this can mean running faster than the competition, jumping higher. A big one here is also reducing injury risk. When one is stronger, it is proven to decrease the likelihood of injury. What I'm not talking about when it comes to strength training is excessive hypertrophy, like lifting a bunch of weights so you get super bulky like a bodybuilder. For most things, that's just not necessary. You also don't have to be a power lifter. You don't have to have a maximum weight, 1 rep max deadlift, squat, or bench press. For most court and field sports, and for the general population clientele, you just need to be strong enough. Now, that also doesn't mean lifting a bunch of light weights, 1, 2, 3, 4 kg, 20, 30, 40 times, and not progressing the load. That also isn't strength training. So coming back full circle here, strength training is a competent total body routine that works on all our major PPC pillars. We're talking about hinging, squatting, pushing, and pulling. We're going to have quality movement, and we're also going to have progressive load. This means that over time, we are in fact getting stronger and lifting heavier weights or increasing the intensity somehow. Lastly, we're also playing the long game. I could care less, what sort of improvements are made in the short term, a couple weeks, a month, etc. I want to look 3 months, 6 months, a year out, look back and see all that progress made. When we play the long game, the little variations in the daily cycle don't really matter. So why does one need to add strength training as part of their holistic fitness regimen? 1, strength is the foundation for performance. And whether you're an athlete that needs to run, jump, sprint, or if you're a general population client that needs to perform better in their daily tasks, the bigger foundation of strength that we have, the better we're going to be able to express that in whatever performance task that is needed. 2, as we age, and this is an unfortunate reality, as we age, we tend to lose strength. It can easily be maintained if this is part of our regimen, and we can even make gains as we age. Problem is, if we lose strength, we're going to increase our chance of injuries, whether that be acute injuries or nagging injuries. When that happens, that's going to decrease our quality of life. So maintaining or including a strength training regimen as part of your routine is going to help maintain and even increase your quality of life as you age. I'm going to give you 2 examples of what this might look like, throwing strength training in a routine for people that may have not had it in the past. Here's one example that we get a lot at PPC. Someone will come in for a consult, for an assessment, and on the outside, they look like they're a healthy and fit individual. Perhaps they're an avid runner. Maybe they throw in Pilates or yoga a few times a week. Maybe they're the recreational athlete, playing tennis, golf, etc. But usually, there's a reason why they're coming to PPC. Maybe they've started to get nagging soft tissue injuries. This could mean the Achilles is acting up or the shin's getting sore after runs. Maybe the knee's a little bit achy after playing tennis. Or maybe that golfer is starting to get a stiff or sore back after they played a couple rounds of golf. Well, if these individuals added strength training to their routine, they'll get stronger, and by doing so, they'll have more capacity to handle these tasks that they're doing every week. They're going to decrease their injury risks and be able to maintain their routines that they had and possibly even increase their performances in whatever it is that they were doing. Second example, let's look at a skill-based athlete, a basketball player, for example. And maybe this person's a decent basketball player. They're playing 4 to 6 times a week. They're competent, they're not bad. They don't really have any nagging issues, no injuries, things of that nature. But perhaps there's some gaps in their athleticism that's affecting their play. Maybe they get hit a lot and they lose their balance and they can't recover quickly enough. Maybe they're the last person or in the middle of the pack when they're doing sprints with their teammates. Maybe they're just a little bit slow to get to that loose ball, or they're just not getting a few inches higher to get that rebound from an opponent. If this basketball player added strength training into their routine, they would of course get stronger. They're going to be able to run faster, jump higher, take more hits. They'll be able to increase their athleticism better than their competition that may be not doing these things. A good example of a pro basketball player where this actually happened the right way is Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak in the NBA. If you look at him in year one, he was this skinny, long athlete, and you could see he had a lot of potential, but he was getting hit a lot, getting bullied, and he just didn't have a pro NBA body. Fast forward 5 years later, and this guy's a beast. He's put on 50 pounds of muscle, and the rest is sort of history. This guy is likely going to be the NBA MVP this year, and he just physically punishes all of the NBA. And we're talking about some of the best basketball players in the world, some of the best athletes in the world. Again, strength training is the number one thing that we at PPC see that's missing from most people's holistic fitness regimen. Take up a competent, full-body strength training routine, at least twice a week, so that we can ensure progress. Push, pull, hinge, and squat. And make sure we're doing these movements with quality. If you don't understand what that means, hire a competent professional to teach you. Because if you're not doing this stuff right, if you're doing poor quality movements, you're just getting better at doing something poorly. Make sure there's progressive overload and play the long game. 3, 6, 12 months down the line, we should be getting stronger, lifting heavier weights, increasing our intensity in whatever way that can mean. Thanks for joining this episode of Juice with Justin.